So we got a Jaguar Wright interview that just went up a few hours ago. You know she had to speak on this whole Jay-Z thing. I mean, I actually covered it yesterday, so let's not even waste any time. Welcome to Rich House Reviews. We are here to give a real perspective, so I hope you're not shy, and I hope you are, if you enjoy yourself, you definitely hit them buttons. Let's get into it.
The Jay-Z news has hit the Wall Street Journal. This is not good for stock, but someone warned us all along, and we have her here to respond. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and I am here with the one and only Jaguar Wright. Jaguar, you told us all so. How are you feeling today?
Like Bill Murray. In that movie Groundhog's Day?
Oh, yep. You're just repeating. You know, this is not surprising to you.
At all.
It's wild. I asked you this earlier. You're not enjoying this because this is a tough day because look, and I have to say I don't know the truth. But Jaguar has been warning us about Jay-Z. Yeah. Jay-Z has now had an official lawsuit. It's everywhere. It's now being talked about louder than ever. I guess, does that give you some peace to know that people are finally really questioning this man?
It's emboldening me. I spoke on Piers Morgan. I said that I had 3 victims that I've been working with, victims of the Carters.
Wow.
That were ready to come forward. This might help them feel a little more confident now. So this is great because he's been evading, but the thing is, everyone in the backdrop knew that he was the celebrity John Doe. Everybody knew that.
Wow.
They knew it when I did Piers Morgan.
Is Beyonce celebrity B?
I hope to God not, but she was around.
Now, what's y'all views on this whole Jay-Z situation, okay? And she made up a good point. Beyonce, not to bring her name up, but the only reason I want to bring her name up is to say, is she knowledgeable of what happened? Now, he did meet her when she was young. That is something that everybody knows. He dealt with Foxy Brown when she was young. That's a whole nother conversation. But the conversation right now that we need to have is, was Beyonce aware in which she let him keep doing him? That's the question.
And she's very... She's got enough on her plate. After everything that happened with the election and everything that's happening right now, I'm not going to dump on that woman. She got better fish to fry. Well, what I will say is that her husband, she knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
She knows. She knows.
I want to give you props, though, because on your channel, which I want to plug, Jaguar Wright Effect, you guys can support it. You posted last night, your first response was reposting the unedited Piers Morgan interview, which I found very ballsy and very telling. And again, this is where it all came from, where Piers Morgan was scared by Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, proving they are watching and they're being litigious. I got to watch my back, Jaguar. I appreciate you getting that. And I don't want to lose my platform. I can't afford Alex Spiro.
I wouldn't want that for anyone. I don't want anyone to lose their platform.
He's good. He's good too. Right or wrong.
He's real good.
What I wanted to take this video for is we're going to have Jaguar live tomorrow around 4 p.m. Eastern. She's coming back for a long form conversation. We're going to hear plenty. If you got questions, come ask them. Jonas, tomorrow, hit the subscribe. Jaguar, I want to do a victory lap for you here. I want to say, because people say you're being crazy, but the reality is I think you were onto something before a lot of us, specifically about Jay-Z. And there are some clips I want to watch with you, particularly one of Rihanna that really freaked me out. This clip, guys, if you haven't seen it, which I hadn't seen it until this morning when I saw this headline, Kim found it for me. Let's watch this clip quickly.
Crazy
Let's
that you
watch
haven't
Tyra
seen
pushing to get this out of Rihanna, and when it does, man, it made me feel very, very uncomfortable.
Audition. Yes, but before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming.
And you had to sing a cappella for him?
Yes, I had to sing. I sang Fun to Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time.
Yeah. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh, yes. He said, we don't sing songs here. We sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, you did it homework.
I did a lot of homework on you, this lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
Yeah.
The audience is so uncomfortable. Like, I don't know if Tyra was trying to get that on the record, but my God, what?
Are they reaching? Reaching meaning, are they like gaslighting this whole situation, or is that something that we should be looking into? That's really the question.
Jaguar, he threatened her. This is her own words coming out of her mouth. And she was a kid at that time, correct?
15-year-old girl who had been flown to the United States without parental supervision or a chaperone, brought to a grown man's office in a large corporate Manhattan building. Everybody knew when she flew in. I was there the day she got signed. Everyone was talking about it. And the 6 hours that she spent with him, and the 4 hours that she spent alone with him with no parental supervision. Her father didn't show up till the next day to come and collect the check.
Well, and there's
This is her life.
The rumors were even beyond that, right? That Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce with her when she was
Very much
17
so.
is what a lot of this came out through a publicist who later then
Have
had
you
to
spoken to
apologize.
my
Yo,
friend
I ain't
Jonathan?
never know about
you
that.
should talk to Jonathan.
Please.
Because Jonathan was there. He was right there working with Rihanna. And it was right when they started crafting her to be seen as a brand and commodity only and not a person. And when I talk to Jonathan now, just to hear him when he thinks of his teenage daughters, he was like, Rihanna was the same age my girls are now. I couldn't imagine putting my daughters through what we put her through. And then the next thing you know, she was removed from that first team from Pond the Replay and replaced with all new handlers and kept sheltered in Los Angeles, where she was going out to parties and partying at 15, 16, 17 years old, hanging out at the Rainbow Room, hanging out. Yeah, like it was one of my friends.
Anybody know about the
found
Rainbow
out
Room?
She was 17 when everyone thought she was 21. And he was like, yo, why do y'all got me carrying this girl around? And she's, oh, it's cool, it's cool.
Well, but just to echo and support you, like they had to debunk that. Oh, we apologize. It wasn't real. We made it up in hopes of giving her single a boost.
Yeah, they
Like,
promised
what?
Jonathan a deal working at Tidal and something, and then they reneged. And then the next thing you know, he was caught in a home invasion robbery while he was working on the Drake secret baby mama story,
Jeez.
Sophie. He was
Wow.
duct taped him and his daughter, and he was pow whipped in front of his child. So, you know, there's a lot that goes on in the backdrop. And I know the PTSD. I know what it's like to be in a trunk, you know.
Speaking of PTSD, you made a comment about this. Like, this was from the Super Bowl appearance more recently. This bothered you, seeing her put the Rockefellers logo out there.
If you
what
go
was your
back
instinct to that?
and watch, it was almost as if she didn't want to put her hands up, and then she looked over where Jay-Z's box was, and then you just see her hands.
I mean,
She look at her. She's looking at his box. She didn't want to do it. She didn't even want to do that gig. But the whole
see, these be my moments with her. Sometimes I just be like, yo, she's just talking crazy. And then sometimes I'm like, is she telling the truth? So it's like you got to kind of filter between which one is which with her. You know what I mean? But she is one person that's been fighting about this for a long time. As a Jay-Z fan, I thought she was just talking foolishness. And it's like, all of these things are coming to forefront.
especially the financial hold with the companies and all of the money and all of the strings that he pulled to. He treats these women like shell corporations.
Is that why this happened? Do you have any insight on this infamous
Yo,
elevator video where
he's
Solange
dirty.
was seen just unloading on him?
That
Beyonce's
reporter
there
is
as well.
dirty.
What I will say is, right there, that's the moment when he told her to back up and called her Tito Jackson.
And respect
There was-
and love to Tito Jackson, who we just lost recently.
I know. Tito could
legend,
never
yeah.
get a break, and he's the nicest guy.
But here,
yeah,
Jay-Z
there
trying to
was-
mimic, she's not worthy, she's nobody, is what he's trying to
Pretty
do. And
much is what he pretty much said to her. But the thing is there was infidelity that was happening that night. Both of them got caught doing things they weren't supposed to do. I believe there might have been some DV that happened. And people who know Mr. Carter knows he doesn't have a problem with putting his hands on his wife.
Wow.
Plenty of people know that to be true. Solange is different.
Allegedly.
Yeah, this
Allegedly.
allegedly.
Solange is different.
Yeah, what proof is this? Because this is allegedly.
She's old school Southern, and she loves her big sister, even when her big sister makes mistakes. She stood up for her sister. The most interesting thing about that, though, can we look at that one more time, Andy? They come in and all of this, and then look, it almost looks like he's going to defend himself, but instead he prostrates himself, right? He lets Solange go nuts, and then he sits there and acts. He knows that camera's there. He knows where all the cameras are in that place.
Man, he's a celebrity.
There's another footage, and I'll get it and I'll send it to you, of him with another woman approaching him aggressively, or it seemed like aggressively, and he slapped the crap out of her. Matter of fact, there's at least 5 different shows over the course of the past 15 years where he has physically attacked women that came into his space that he didn't want anywhere near him. So I find it funny that in all those other instances, he had no problem with putting his hands on a woman to so-called defend himself. But when he's getting killed alive with cameras there, all of a sudden now he's meek and mild. I think that was a setup. I think he did that specifically to handle up on Solange.
Well, there's so much I want to talk to you about, but while I still have you and we're talking on this topic, let's talk about the ages, because he was after Beyonce when she was before 18, correct? I mean, as we go through the timeline, they claim, oh no, I didn't, well, I met him at 18 and then we waited till I was 19, but they knew each other when she was like 15, 16, correct? He clearly had eyes. And it's not the only one, right? There's Aaliyah as well. I was looking at these photos. There's a history
but Aaliyah,
of this, right?
definitely. A lot of people don't realize the timeline, but after everything went bad with Robert Kelly and he had to divorce Aaliyah, Jay-Z was interested while she was still underage.
Wow.
And as she started spending more time in New York, he was very, very, very right there. She didn't want that. She didn't want that with him. And if there's one thing I can tell you about Sean Carter, being embarrassed and being rejected are things he does not handle well. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you're crazy. He didn't do anything to Big L. He didn't do anything to Lamont Coleman. What? But I think people tend to forget, if Dame had successfully signed Lamont to Rockefeller, we wouldn't even know about Reasonable Doubt. It would have stayed a cult classic, probably sold 750,000. If Lamont Coleman had signed to Rockefeller, he would have been the star. He's always removed anything that can make him look as average as he is.
All right, let's stop right here for a second. And the reason I want to stop here is they're going to be doing this interview tomorrow, okay? And there's going to be more like live things that they're going to be talking about. And I know that's kind of what we really want to be here for. I want to know about what she just said. Do you think that that's true, that Big L's career was halted because of Jay-Z? And Jay-Z felt intimidated by Big L? Because I look at the way hip-hop played out, Big L would have been another borough. And I think everybody was borough clicking at that time. It was about, New York, but it was more about the borough. And I just think that he would have been Harlem, which means Mace. And it just would have been a whole different direction that probably would have went. But, yeah, she says a lot of things on here that, some things, like I say, are believable. Some things are unbelievable. Now with this new Jay-Z thing, it's like, I don't know whether to say she's, capping. So if y'all want part 2, y'all can always write part 2 in the comments. We'll definitely get to it. If not, I'll keep it going. Make sure y'all subscribe, hit the top bell. See you on the next one.